This is what happens when you're trying to do something great. You have to, you're gonna have these bumps and steps and bumps in the road. But like what is
Innovation is trial and error.
like what motivational speakers will say, keep your chin up, you charge forward. Motivation comes from action.
The use of technical AI configuration here for video quality. In the future, guys, it won't be us that are doing this video. It will be AI that will be doing video for us, doing
Yeah,
our
that
work.
this video, man.
You get
I know my AI.
or build that avatar, extra avatar. So they talk along amongst themselves.
I know my AI. I wonder what my AI version will look like. Better be as good looking as me, though. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Squad Academy. Today is Friday, November 24th.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Exactly. So you guys know what happened yesterday. God, I'm not even lying to you, man. Before we get into that, I just saw my brother, my partner. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
The Prince of Edo, the the mayor of Lagos, the newest son of Prosper, Texas.
And the landlord of Austin, I greet you.
I did not know. But I'm really the landlord, man. One of the people I've been having in my house recently. I'm really a landlord, bro. I'm really a landlord at this point. Well, how you doing, man? I don't lie to my but after yesterday's festivities, I struggled to wake up today, man. I struggled, bro. I was just rolling in bed. Man. Ha. For you guys, I don't know, we actually decided to record 8 a.m. on a Friday after Thanksgiving. So I don't think that was a good idea, but
That's dedication, guys. Real
dedication. How's your Thanksgiving, man?
It was good, man. Chills, man. Obviously, we just did apartment moving, so just settling down, literally enjoying a free day. That's what it was. So calm.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So, long story short, you didn't know shit.
Technically, resting is an activity, guys. When enjoy the peace and quietness. That is something. Take
That's
a fresh
something.
air. Understand?
Okay. Well, that's nice. As for me, man, I actually had a good one. Family came over. Family came over from all across the country. Friends were over as well. Good food, plenty of drinks. Man, the grill was on. Like,
I chose the wrong weekend to go to Austin, man.
the grill was on. No, when it's a Darkwas event, the grill has to be on. Because Edosa has felt the power
Barbecue boys.
the power of the grill. So yeah, but it was nice, man. It was nice. We were up till like 2, 3 a.m. I think it was good to like 3 a.m. It was, man, we were just playing games, chatting, vibing to music, drinking. That was it was a great time. It was a great time. So yeah, man. Yeah. So don't worry. Next year, this gotta be here in Austin, man. I'm trying to make it an annual thing, right?
Annual thing, right?
So next year. But I mean, Edison knows was always invited. He just had way more. He had other priorities. He didn't prioritize me. No hard feelings, though. No hard feelings.
Step.
No hard feelings. But yeah, what are we going to be talking about today? I mean, we can talk about Thanksgiving all day, but I guess you guys didn't really come here for that. The three things we had in mind for today are one, Access Bank expanding to Asia, which is really good. Then we'll now dive into Okadabooks, which is an e-publishing platform that recently announced that will be shutting down towards the end of this year or end of this month, actually. And we'll round up with OpenAI. So sometimes, and I feel like the whole world knows about this at this point, but we'll just give some more details as to what we know about the whole spiel and our own thoughts on it. We'll round up with the OpenAI and Sam Altman being reinstated as the CEO. And we'll just pretty much just cap it off there and let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your weekend. So, but yeah, Edusa, diving right into it. There's the news that came out this week on Axis Bank expanding to Asia. And for those who don't know, I mean, Access Bank. I mean, I'm sure you all see. I don't even explain what Access Bank is. Everybody knows Access Bank, right? They hold. Mm, mm, cut myself there, Jesus. My Yoruba side almost came out. They own. they own, they own a substantial amount of market cap. God, is Yoruba God. They own a substantial amount of market cap in the Nigerian banking sector, right? I think about 14 or 15% of market cap or something like that.
Yeah.
But they're one of the top grossing banks in Nigeria, right? And in Africa, I think in Africa as well.
Africa. Yeah.
Um, but this is your space, right? So I'll just let you just drive this conversation. I mean, can you give us the whole rundown of what exactly is going on?
Yeah, sure. So guys, just like why people like Access Bank is because of they're very innovative in strategy. And like other banks, they're very deliberate in signaling a strategy, and you literally just watch them execute it ruthlessly. So that's an interesting thing to watch about them. And they don't joke about it. I mean, there was two bank executives at GTB, right, that pulled out and went to acquire Access Bank in 2002. You know, Ig and Pepper Wigwe.
Yeah, great.
So that first was a daring move. Like, who are these new boys on the block? So they did that. Then since then, Access Bank was a small bank. Nobody knew about that. So that's why they were even able to acquire it, right? And their whole pitch was, look, we'll grow this thing and we'll be ruthlessly efficient. And that was the thing. You know, they trained their staff heavy. They acquired another smaller bank right after Access. Then when they really broke ground in Nigeria was when they acquired Diamond Bank. Boom. That kind of solidified them as largest bank by assets or by customer base in Nigeria. So you know, okay, we're done with this. You
That's been
get
their main strategy, right? Like they've really been heavy on acquisitions over the past couple.
M&A, man. That's what they do. Like
Mm.
other banks try to do eternal growth as a strategy, right? But Access Bank has been obvious. There has been M&A. And once they did Access Diamond Bank, it was clear that okay, we're finished Nigeria, done and dusted. We are dominant in Nigeria. Then now started looking elsewhere. And literally every year they've acquired an African subsidiary, either opening their own, like they opened their own like subsidiary in Ghana, in Togo, whereas in other parts of Africa they just acquired. Boom, boom, boom. I think Standard Chartered Bank sold like 7 banks in 7 different African countries to Access Bank, right? So overnight, boom, they're like in 7 African countries. They've been very bullish on Francophone Africa. They even went to Europe, right? But in Europe, instead of doing like an entire bank. They did like wholesale banking. And what does that mean? That's like B2B banking. So banking with other banks. So they're not really, they didn't come to England or Paris, those two countries that they launched in, to do retail, like to bank with customers. They just said, okay, banks, how far? We are here. We want to do transactions with Nigerians, go through us. That was our presence in Europe, right? Which is common. Many banks, I think First Bank used to have an office in London. FCMB has the same thing as well. So that was the strategy. But what's interesting is that their next full bank beyond the African subsidiaries they've had is going to be in Asia. Right? The CEO made this announcement like last week, and he didn't want to disclose the Asian country because it's still going through regulatory approval. So he doesn't want anybody, he doesn't want Babele, someone to just go and make a call here or there. But that was interesting because everybody knows that, you know, Asian countries, me, I'm thinking, what comes to my mind is China, what comes to my mind is you get those kind of countries, China most likely, right? And I'm thinking everybody knows and India too. Everyone knows the
Yeah.
trade relationship that we're going to within China, India, and Nigeria, like particularly e-commerce, industrial trade, heavy. And Access Bank has all this data. Like that was said, Access Bank is big. They have close to $30 billion in assets, about 27,
Yep.
$28 billion. The market cap is about $750 million, which is quite sad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you know, they pay good dividends, so nobody really cares about that in Nigeria. But the market cap is there, $750 million. They're not yet a unicorn, but see the movement, bro. But anyway, so they obviously have that data. They know most of their customers. You know, customers are taking loans from them to
Yeah.
buy equipment or taking loans from them, export loans. So they know who the counterparty is, who they're doing business with, and then maybe they're seeing that Asia is making sense, right? And also, so they're responding to that. They're saying, oh, if people that our customers are dealing with in Asia, let's go and bank there. So that way, those companies too will be banking with us, and it makes the conversation quicker, easier, and smoother. That
Okay.
is smart. I think that's interesting. But then two, they're doing this because Asian countries on average have higher disposable income, higher capital in circulation than African
Mm.
countries. So it also gives them a good chance to raise capital and not like IPO or whatever, but it's literally deposits, savings, different products. They have that chance in Asian countries. That is also an attractive strategy for them. But then third, they're also saying, look, let's be honest, 2002 to now, 750M. Trust me, all those guys, all the founders of Access Bank, they are doing good, probably billionaires or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, you can see either way, you can't really outrun your macro in your
Yeah.
country. And even if you now
Yeah.
go across Africa, let's be honest, African countries have some similarities as far as devaluation, all of that. So I think this is an attractive attempt to be global in the real sense of being global, right? But okay, let's actually have a full banking license in another country, not an African country.
Yeah.
So they're trying to, that also helps them with FX hedging, all of that noise. I think that's a good move and very bold move. And obviously, Nigerian banks, they copy each other like crazy.
Yeah.
Once Access Bank does this successfully, that's why I didn't even mention the country. I can bet you guys the next year, four banks would have put the application in for that same country. But that's a good trend, right? Let us see Nigerian banks be global. Why? I mean, JP Morgan, the Goldman Sachs, all these guys are global, right? And they're backing everybody across the world. So why not Nigerian banks? It's a good thing. And I think it's a good FX hedging strategy for them. But the counter argument is the growth too much? So some analysts have put them side by side with Standard Chartered Bank, which is like another very thriving South African bank that basically went global, right?
Hmm.
And this past decade, they started coming back, like, hey, calm down. They started like selling, they sold some of their banks in some countries in Africa to Access. So they've changed their strategy to say, look, we want to specialize in one or two countries and we're done for the day. Whereas Access is doing the exact opposite. So some investors are questioning the strategy and saying, look, it's easy because you guys now have a good team of lawyers, a good team of bankers to quickly do these transactions quickly. So it's easy to buy and pick up assets, but will you be able to ensure consistency, ensure ruthless efficiency, and manage this enormous empire efficiently, right, overnight? That's what I'm thinking about it. Even in Africa, you are dealing with several currencies now. You're dealing with several languages. So Francophone Africa, French-based economy, Nigeria, English-based, Anglophone. So all that dynamics going on, different cultural these things, the different regulators. So I see that as headache. But maybe Access Bank is seeing something else that we're not seeing. So that gives you that bullish case, but also gives you some people's
They're
concerns about the
expanding.
strategy.
But just to be sure, right? This whole expansion, I know this whole expansion into Asia is not necessarily retail banking, though. It's corporate banking, right?
It's so they advertise this as the first full service banking license outside of Africa.
Are you sure?
They're trying to do so. When you say full service, probably retail and corporate, but in reality, they really focused on corporate, meaning dealing with companies because that's
Yeah,
the
because that's what I
because
read, right? I mean, at least
yeah,
what I
I
read
don't
about
think they
the whole
really
thing.
retail they're not going to deceive themselves and say we just appeared in this country today and
Yeah,
regular Joes and Jim will be giving us money. That's not
yeah,
really the best. They're betting on corporate clients so that way they can facilitate LLC. So think of a manufacturer in Nigeria. He wants to build a new plant. He typically has somebody in India that he's wants to buy the equipment from. He
hmm,
goes to Access Bank. Access Bank, please can you give me a line of credit of like $1 million. Access Bank does that, but the company in India has to say, I like this bank. I trust them to be able to really hold that note as
hmm,
valuable, and I'll give my equipment to this guy in Nigeria in hopes that this bank will actually honor it.
yeah,
That deals with a lot of optics and brand reputation. But now, and it's been going on, but now that Access Bank is seated there in Asia, they're able to make that conversation happen faster, right? So that they're really focused on those corporate relationships to try and facilitate
that's
those
fair.
things
That's
and
fair.
bet on that.
Yeah, I mean, your concerns are fair, right? Because I'm thinking of the fact that when it comes to banks, right, unless you're looking at the mega ones, maybe like a Credit Suisse or the large ones, right? Maybe like a Chase and stuff like that. Usually, like JP Morgan and stuff. Like usually banks are usually like very jurisdictional, like they're very like regional, right? They just stick to their own.
area.
And in most situations, they that's usually enough for them, right, to grow because it's all banking anyway. So it's pretty much just money that they get to this that they invest and use to generate the return, right? But usually, like banks don't really expand at least retail banking to like other countries and stuff, right? Because they try to stick that area because there's a lot of rules and regulations. Like it's so many rules already when it comes to monetary policies and stuff, right? It's like it gets so complicated that banks don't want to even turn around those lines and try to like expand here because all of a sudden now, unless you're setting up it will be more like a completely different entity, right? Like setting up for this one because that's going to have its own set of rules and regulations, its own governance and stuff. Because how you govern, it's not like just hiring employers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like literally like the company itself, it's its own set of rules and policies. Like how you run a banking entity in the UK is completely different from how you run it in the US and how you run it in Asia or Nigeria. It's not just about your employees and their workplace. Nah, it's literally like the company itself, like how it's operated. So I think banks just try to just stay clear of that and just like, you know what, this is where Wells Fargo operates in US, right? US bank. The one that is in UK or the one that maybe like an HSBC, whatever it is, right?
Lloyd's banks, all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's also a few that found the way to expand globally. I know HSBC is really one that there's HSBC UK, there's HSBC this, there's HSBC in you go to Mexico, there's HSBC in Mexico. So like there's some banks that just found ways to expand globally. And I think Credit Suisse is another mega one, right? Um, but it's not usually a thing where banks just expand globally. So I don't know if and Access Bank is not even on the Access Bank is nowhere close to these banks, by the way. That is mentioned. Nowhere close. I think Access Bank's market cap is like 750 million or something like that.
Yeah,
Dollars.
$750 million. So
Yeah.
it's nothing. And the assets is like, less than $30 billion. So there are some hedge
Yes.
funds that have more than that, 10 times more
Less
than
than
that.
30, right. Even
Right.
SVP, it was even SVP as the original bank in US. It did times four or was doing times 4 or 5 of that. They had over
Yeah.
$100 billion in assets, right?
Yeah.
So I
So
mean, I
I think
mean,
they're spreading themselves
I'm not
too
yabbing
thin.
you access. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to put it into perspective. Put it into perspective. So
On that perspective.
that's all. That's all.
Yeah.
But I feel like market cap can be misleading too. Because when you look at Dangote, what is Dangote's market cap? 5 trillion, which is $5 billion.
Yeah, it's about like $5 billion or something like that.
Dangote is such a huge company, man.
Mhm.
That's such a huge company. Like on a yearly, it really blows my mind because, like, anyways, you know what I'm saying. I feel like the NSE needs some kind of restructuring, man, because it really blows my mind to like how can a company that does trillion of naira, billions of dollars in revenue on an annual basis have a market cap of
Yeah.
$5 billion.
The thing with NSC is that they're very like, most Nigerian investors prioritize dividend a lot, and the stock price is meant to price it in, but it really doesn't show that. It doesn't. So let's say somebody says, "Ah, these guys bought Access Bank for maybe $1 million, or let's just say $20 million or whatever in 2002, and now it's 750. That is not so impressive, regular. But almost every year for those 20 years, these guys have been paying out shareholders close to
Yeah.
close to I dare I say close to tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars every year consistently.
Really.
So the investors, they know what they got. They're like, okay, yeah, they don't really share price is like it's like saying to them it's like real estate. They just bought like this thing that pays them what's it called
You feel
all the
like
time.
that's the effect of the the oh it's crash. 'Cause I know prior to it's like at least back then, like I know people that used to trade stocks, pops used to trade stocks as well in here. Like it was like a thing, like there used to be returns and stuff here and there. Like it wasn't a thing of dividend, it was a thing of actually like buying stocks and your stocks growing, right?
Yeah,
But since that always crashed, bro, like I mean people don't really talk about the stock market that much anymore.
it
So
really it really beats people's fingers, and people now saw many junk stocks, like America to junk stocks, many
yeah,
scams that were like, what's this? So they just close their minds. And I think companies quickly to get them enticed just started paying sweet dividends. That people
Dividends,
started focusing on
dividends.
that, right? And if you think about like foreign investors, they know that okay, your currency is risky. Even if you grow 3 times, 4 times, I don't know what that is. That. So just pay me
Yeah,
every year. So that way, I quickly convert it and start realizing some of my money. So Nigeria started doing that. I think that's why Nigerian companies just started paying dividends, and they don't really. If you see an announcement about the stocks, a company's reports, everybody just goes straight to dividend. Nigerians, right? They don't really want to care about stock price or whatever, which is a I don't know. It's a weird system for a country. Like you said, I guess because we're younger, we appreciate and we want to know more about like how the stock goes. You know, I don't care about getting paid today or next tomorrow. I want to see price appreciation. But
yeah.
they've really convinced the market in a weird way
Hmm.
to salivate over dividend.
Let's see. No, that wasn't bad. I mean, I guess maybe that's something else to look into. But yeah, no, thanks for that overview. Moving on to the next one. Or did you have anything else
Oh no,
to
no, that's all.
maybe?
That's all.
Moving on to the next one. Okadabooks, right? Okadabooks, an e-publishing platform, announced this week that they will be shutting down operations. So pretty much just offing their app on November 30th of this year. And I mean, for those who don't know, I'm just playing, yes. I mean, for those who don't know who Okadabooks is, like I said, it's an e-publishing platform founded in 2013. So they've done about 10 years now, or 10 plus years. They've been in the game for a while, to be fair.
Yeah.
Even prior to before VC money became really popular, right? They've been doing this. Now I don't know how much they raised. Maybe you know how much they raised in total, but yeah. So pretty much the whole platform is having access. I mean, look at it like an Audible, right? We are like an Audible, right? Access to thousands of books and educational material online. It's kind of like an e-platform, right? So you go on there. I think they boasted they had around 400,000 readers or listeners on the platform or users on the platform. And which is really not that high if you've been in operation for 10 years, right? And maybe these are some of the difficulties that they were facing, right? The Nigerians really care about reading in the first place on that degree. What kind of content were they really having on that platform? I mean, the folk really care about just reading like fictional books and stuff like that in Nigeria. Is it that profitable in Nigeria? Are these just luxuries that we in the diaspora care about because our problems are less compared to the problems I have in Nigeria? I don't know, but like what's your whole spiel on this stuff, man?
Yeah, it was sad because I think I downloaded Okadabooks once and I had the app for like maybe close to a year before I became very inactive on that app. And I thought it was impressive. I thought it was cool. It was founded by somebody in the diaspora as well who moved back to Nigeria. So that's an impressive story that many of us on this podcast can relate to. Um, but like you said, they help just like Audible and all these other people. They help with both publishing and um, and so meaning if you're a new writer, you want to get your book published, you can do that through them. But then secondly, you can now post and publish your book on their platform, meaning that now gives you a direct way of making revenue.
Yep.
What people don't appreciate is that before they became popular, and they became popular around the same time with Kindle, Audible, and stuff like that, to be fair. So they became popular with too many foreign big competitors. But before that time, if you're a Nigerian author, you write a book, first of all, finding the publisher was difficult. When you now find one, you now be going to different bookstores to get them, to convince them to, what's it called, to put your book on the shelf. And those bookstore owners, right? And the founder had this same experience. Those bookstore owners, they will not pay you. Like your book also 3 or 4 copies, 5 copies. Yeah, give me my money now, guy. The guy is not answering his phone, he's not answering his WhatsApp message or Blackberry thing. So he experienced that personally, and I was like, "What rubbish is this?" Then he started like I think helping people publish and sell their books like through like
Mm.
the BlackBerry app. Then from there move to Android and all of that. So, but now we take that for granted, right? 'Cause I think maybe people just do online stuff or something like that. But that was impressive, and like you said, I think 404K users. That's a bit stunted, in for 10 years. Then I know they try to do some partnerships with maybe schools and all those like books that people use in universities and primary schools to really get that en masse. That would have been a good hack to really blow out their audience and maybe attracting more diaspora readers. But it's just sad to hear that with all these headwinds, They didn't really give a strong reason, but I mean, we got just left to guess that.
Yeah, they just said it was an economic downturn, right? I feel
Yeah,
like that's been the perfect I would say that's been the perfect reason for a lot of shutdowns this year, economic downturn. I don't know if they raised institutional capital,
what I
right?
saw was I think an initial raise of like 100K and maybe a total raise throughout a lifetime of like 1.2 M. So I don't
Also,
think they were even
they raised
aggressively
significant
like
money. They
trying
raised
to
some
raise.
significant capital.
Yeah,
That yeah, I do you think it's more so because it's a noble thing, right? It's a on the outside it's a good idea, right? On the outside it's a good idea, and I know there are other folks in Nigeria who also do this as well. They're more newer startups who are doing this whole e-publishing and e-books
I
platform,
know
right?
of Roving Heights as well and some other
Yeah.
ones.
Um, do you just think it's the culture that we have that doesn't promote this kind of business? I mean, I don't think we have this culture of necessarily reading per se, right? I mean, we're very educational and academic in nature, right? So like we can read those kind of material, right? So do you think that's where the business should be focused more on, like educational academic stuff, as opposed to the other side, which is more like publishing, novelty kind of things, authors kind of things, fictional books here and there. I mean, do you think that side they tried to focus on wasn't the most profitable just due to the fact that I mean I don't like to like I mean I was, I was born and raised in Nigeria. I don't think there was this culture of like people reading Nigerian books like that. If I wrote the books we read growing up or like American books, like the Gifted Hands and the likes of Secret
Harry
Heaven
Potter,
stuff,
all that
Harry
stuff.
Potter and stuff, right? Even though it wasn't Nigerian books. I feel like it's now that maybe it's not becoming more of a cool thing, like an art
Chimamanda
form.
Adichie, all those things. Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, what do you like? Do you think that was the? Do you think it's our
I
culture
think
doing harm to
I
this
think there
business?
were seven, like I said, there were seven boats because they're helping publishers publish, and us, a reader, can now read a book that is on the platform, right? But and so that then you now have a market problem because you have both the buyer and the seller interacting. You need supply. You need people that will write more
Yeah,
books, and you need people that want to read those books. So it's
yeah,
like
chicken
building,
that problem. Yeah,
yeah. So it's like building like that, like building a Spotify for Nigerian music or whatever. You need. So if you use that Spotify example, I think that's where the problem is. I don't if I were to address it, I think it's a supply problem. I don't think there were that many Nigerian writers. Not, let's forget readers for once. In the first place, good writers. Because if you look at it now, for the past 10 years, the only one that really stood out, again, I'm not in the space, so maybe that's why I don't know many personally. But you see like how Chimamanda really stood out from the park. There have been other people, there have been other books that come to mind that I think, okay, I know the books that maybe the writer is popular now or something like that. But then, okay, what was the sequel? What was the follow up right up to that? What was the next book or third book? So I don't think there are many
I don't know. I
writers.
disagree.
Sorry,
I would disagree. I would disagree. I think we have writers. I think we
I
have
think
writers.
so.
If
Good writers.
even if
If
we say
because
no, we
it's
didn't.
the writer's job, I think, to get our attention. Because somebody can say we don't have music listeners in Nigeria. You do good music that I listen to. I think, and I don't mean to be rude to any writer at all. I don't think it's also that problem. I think they're probably because again, I'm not in the space. I'm not even a deep reader. But
Yeah.
if they were, meaning so many people are producing songs, really trying to force the market to listen to their songs and whatever, until people have to stand at attention and listen. So I think to some extent the writing community, and you see that in some movies, but like I think the writing community is still I don't want to get roasted or whatever, but I think that's still young in not being as in not dropping as much. That's what I think. And I don't mean I've seen some again. I'll let you talk. I feel like you have something to say, but like I've seen some books. The guy like, okay, I wrote this book, it's like 20 pages. I'm like, bro, please, do you get me? Think about like even now talk about educational books. You know, when we go to school, even school in Nigeria, lecturers, all these mathematics books, science books, very few were written by Nigerians, right? Only maybe when I say maybe in university where a professor wants to make money, so professor writes a book and charges you guys, but that's a different incentive. You
Yeah.
get
There was this is it bamboo? don't think it's Bamboo. There was this ebook platform in Nigeria as well that had a good catalog of decent books, right?
Okay.
Of African authors, right? Of African descent, I mean. I think honestly, I think the problem they're facing more is more on the demand side, if I'm being honest. I think we have enough talent. I'm not even a huge reader of books in Nigeria, right? But Nigerian artists, right? But I mean, yes, yeah, there's Chimamanda, but then again, you can look at the older guys. I feel like we just know the popular guys because of they were able to do something on a global scale, right? But like Chimamanda or Wole Soyinka or Chinua Achebe, like these guys, right, who are like who also became icons, right? Um, those guys were known on a global scale, right? Which is why we know them. But I think we have a lot of talent, a lot of authors in Nigeria, or even if you don't say not within Nigeria, outside of Nigerian descent, right? These guys are still Nigerians in a sense, right? Like, bro, we are plenty. I don't care what anyone tells me, right? Bro, we are too much. But like, we're too many Nigerians to say we don't have a good amount of authors. I think the difference in the music industry to the to the what would you call this industry?
Content writing. I
Content
don't
writing,
know.
right? Yeah.
Literature industry.
Literature. Hey, guys, forgive us. I know literates. The difference is the music industry has always been a booming industry in Nigeria, right? Going back to the 80s or the 70s or whatever it is. Like we've always loved music. Right? We've always loved music. It's always been promoted, right? The Afrobeat that we're seeing today is not just something that came up. The Afrobeat that you guys see today, that you guys are shouting whiskey that
But,
Davido.
but we've always loved reading now. But all the
No,
Nigerians have
no,
PhD.
no, we've always
All the Nigerians have PhD everywhere. There are many. So we
no, no,
read.
no.
Oh,
We've always loved academic reading. We've always been
okay, okay,
academic.
okay.
Like we're always
Okay.
been, like,
You're right. Not really for fun. Like who's playing with you?
that's what I'm trying to say. Like we've always loved academia, right? I don't think that's it. We've always loved academia, right? And when you think about it, even like a lot of the books that we read growing up that we know about, so that it's always like books that taught us something. Like I mean, whether it's the matter, all these stories, man. Whether books that we read in school, like it's always been about academia. Like we've always
They
seen
say
reading
this
as
to
a thing of
school.
academia. We never seen reading as a thing of exploratory or fictional or trying to expand your brain and just enjoy it. Now it's always been a thing of academia, right? I think that's our mindset of reading or growing up. That's the mindset that we had of reading.
It could also
So
be
when
a
this
poverty indicator because let's say you know how
exactly,
to say low disposable income, low disposable time. If you don't have that much free
yeah,
time, you kind of resource poor as well.
exactly. I mean, I told the kind of books Popsy gave me growing up. Like it wasn't like random fictional books. It was like The Gifted Hands and stuff
Rich
like
Dad
that.
Poor Dad, all those different way
I mean, like
sense
stuff that you have
behind
to read that exactly
that.
that will impact some kind of knowledge. Like, guy, you can see you have to have ambition in life. You cannot be chalasing and not be vibing through life, right? Those kind of books. Um, so which is why I think now I don't know what Okadabooks focus was on. If they're trying to focus more on just novelty in general, right? Or if they're trying to focus more on what Nigerians really read about or what Nigerians really like to read. Now you might be right, right? There might not be as many when you look at the percentage, right? There might not be as many credible or reliable authors in Nigeria, but I think we have more than enough to provide good content, right? I mean, you can say things about content creators, right? I mean, no one that thought content creators were there, but because of the kind of content they were creating, we actually cared about it. Funny stuff, like I mean, like, that's funny stuff and stuff, right? I mean, who would have thought Nigeria would be one of the hubs for content creation, right?
Yeah,
But because that's something that was just brought to light, right? I mean, it's literally a fun. People want to laugh and just, I mean, Nigerians will
also,
laugh
bro,
at anything.
bro, how many libraries do we have in Nigeria?
Yeah.
That will help us even shape whether you know how that book, Prosperity Paradox, that will help us even have an indicator that people would like to read books. Yeah. Again, in the US, almost every small city you go to has a small library. Some cities have multiple libraries. So like
Mm-hmm.
when I extrapolate from that data, and so I feel like our community was not even designed around um,
Yeah.
loving books. If you only think of books, you just think of school. You
It's
don't think
not,
of
it's not, it's not, it's not. I mean, when you look at it, right, it's more like the private sector has had to, and it sucks. Right? But I feel like the private sector has always had to single-handed. I don't say. I mean, I don't say, but most single-handedly impact these different sectors and grow these different sectors. You said about music, bro, like it was really private sector, right? A lot of these musicians were just hustling and doing their own thing, right? Whether I mean, go back to the days of the 80s and 90s. There's this documentary on Netflix, right? About the guys who really brought this whole broadcast and stuff to Nigeria, right? Forgotten their names. And from there, like they really made radio and talk shows and like music really like they brought it to
KK
life
and
like on the
D1, all those guys.
yeah, exactly those guys, right? So you can see how the private sector literally like single like with the sector, right? Content creation. That's the bond. I mean, go back to the years of the craze clowns. Actually, what I liked of the craze clowns and
Chris
the
Clown, Don't Jealous
Chief
Me,
Obi, Don't Jealous
Chief
Me,
Obi, yeah.
like these guys who were doing it, right? Like these guys see, I mean, this guy just saw, oh my God, YouTube is a thing. Oh my God, Instagram is a thing, right? Let's just make videos and laugh from their phones, right? And they grew their following into millions. And now content creation is literally monetized. Like you are the brand, right? Now, the government didn't have anything to do with that. It was just a bunch of youths. They call us lazy, but there were a bunch of youths that were just recording themselves, right? And just doing this stuff. It's harder because I mean that's all you need, a phone. Now don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's work that's put into it, but that's all you need, a phone. You don't even need a microphone, that's a phone, and be able to just tech being tech savvy to just do content creation, right? And over time you can work on recording your videos and editing your videos. As an author, it's a lot harder because first of all, there's not even that much demand for your stuff in Nigeria, first of all, right? Now you now have to worry about publishing. Now, of course, there are platforms like Okadabooks that have made publishing for you a lot easier. Yes, I get it, right? But I just feel like on the demand side, there weren't a lot of Nigerians who necessarily were even demanding these books. The niche is already very small.
Crucial because some people use it as a, you can imagine some writers here are full-time writers, meaning that's your source of living.
That,
How
that's
can
your
you be
source of
full-time in the
living.
market is not getting like
Yeah,
maybe 20K from the book? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
It ends up
And
being
like
like this.
an everyday author in the US can publish the book, do some promotion here and there, just I mean, and probably make a decent amount of living from selling one book, right? That's a hit.
For many
That's it.
years. Just
For many
keep
years,
building.
right?
That's
Yeah,
because
try
that's
try
what.
that with Nigeria, man. You gotta try
And
that with
imagine because they could do book tours. You know how we're talking about music tours. Those guys are doing book tours here. So you can't even fathom that happening
yeah.
as frequently over. I
Yeah, I
still
mean, I guess literature is definitely one like because but we have a lot of smart people, man. Like we have a lot of like man, I really like school. We have a lot of smart
what
people.
I've seen, the trend I've seen is lots of first of all, many creatives in Nigeria read law because in Nigeria we don't know the same, we don't know Nigerian or whatever can read law. So many creatives, look at files, all these guys, many people in the music industry are lawyers. Um, and what I've seen is that I know many even here Nigerians in diaspora, some of them are like investment bankers, all these things, but their real passion is writing. Even the founder of Okadabooks is an engineer. They just love writing on the side. But you know that I guess the Nigerian market could not pay for it, so just let the guy focus on their career. But now in their midlife, they're writing books, putting it on Amazon for next to free. Just like, okay, let me keep funding my real passion. So you're right.
Sure.
There are many hidden writers
Many
that are still
writers.
quiet on the ground.
Yeah. But Okada books, shout out to you guys, man. You guys try to pave the way. Some of these things take years, man. So I hope something touches you. Maybe that DM that Odusa sent you. I touch your soul and say, you know what? Don't quit yet. It's actually mind blowing. You think these guys can actually all the shutting down. You cannot sell off your assets.
Literally,
You
literally
can sell off your assets. I
exploit.
don't understand, man. How's everybody else shutting down? Try to sell off your asset now. If you've been in operation for 10 years, you should have something now.
You
So
have
what's going to happen
something.
to all that content? Where does it go?
Mhm.
Bam, like all those authors. Where does it go?
That's a good point too. That's a good point. Because let's say you're right. Let's say yeah, because the publishing, the royalties,
Yeah,
who
man, where
now
does it
manage
go?
which mechanism manages that going forward.
Where does
That's
it
a
go?
good point.
If you guys have been in operation for 10 years, I would think, and they're supposed to be the largest in
Yeah.
Nigeria, right? I mean, they should,
I, I, I yeah, I think so.
why can't they position themselves why can't they position themselves properly for a company like Audible, Amazon to acquire them?
Or
That's a
even
huge
yeah,
gap.
that's even too far. Even locally, like Roving Heights is an app. So I
Yeah,
mentioned Access Bank. The founder of Access Bank,
yeah,
he wrote a book. Living the Tarmac. I think I recommended it for you actually. Living the Tarmac. Shout out to Peter. Peter, okay, he introduced me to the book as well. Loki, one of the
And
I'm
say,
also one of the writers.
and say we don't have writers. And say we don't have writers.
Well, exactly. So imagine found out a freaking bank writing his own biography. Well, I think he published it with Robin Heights, or he was being sold. Robin Heights was the distributor. So those kind of guys, they look like they're coming up, and maybe they could have been a good person to acquire these guys. I don't know, but you're right.
Yeah.
Interesting. The spaces is still getting
It's
interesting.
still very, yeah. I'm tired of just seeing everyone just announce shutdown. Like I want to see more acquisitions, right? And on the inside, it could be like distressed sales, right?
Even
But
if you sell it for $1, like Dangote
it's still
sold,
something.
I think was it sugar or flour business, it's sugar for like $1 to like a South African company, and bought it back some years after because I guess some people, if you get technical, sometimes selling it could, what's it called, realize a taxable event.
Yeah.
So you just sell it for
Yeah.
$1 as a loss or whatever, just pass it on
I
to
could
the
put
next
some
person.
you could put some clauses in there that enables you to buy it back or something.
Exactly.
But all this
But
whole
yeah,
shutting down and you're just losing all those assets, you're losing all those IP, like all the authors that have worked day and night to launch on your platform. Like the main focus should be on them, right? So even if you're selling it for $1 at a particular cost that says, okay, you know what, you're selling for $1, but you still have social equity here. I mean, whoever's acquiring will have to
and you have
uh
rights of first refusal, all those
yeah,
different things.
exactly. That's a first reveal and stuff like that. So this clause can be set in place to protect you as the initial majority shareholder or whatever. But yeah, but I mean, I hope it's something that they think more about. But yeah, I mean, that's it for. And is there anything else you wanted to say on these guys on Okadabooks?
Um, no, that's pretty much it. I mean, and it's a good segue to be fair to the next
To the
point
next one.
because now people are saying that it's not we don't need writers again.
AI, AI is here to stay. AI is here to stay. Well, yeah. Because it's funny because last week we spoke about this when the news first broke, right? Literally a couple of hours after the news broke. And what are we talking about? Talking about OpenAI, right? Um, so as you guys already know, last Friday, so a week ago. Wow, this whole thing just unfolded so quickly. Jeez. This whole week was honest. I feel like we should just name this week for rest of human history, OpenAI week, because it was just
Literally.
everywhere. So last
Imagine all
Friday,
the calls that went on from that weekend after that Friday
yeah,
on the ground,
like
everything,
it
all the
just
orchestration.
unfolded so quickly.
This guy
So
had like 4 interviews during the weekend. And Microsoft CEO sent him, and then he went on one live podcast. The guy swung into action, bro.
to action. He went on CNBC. He was being very evasive with answers and stuff. I was like, Baba, what is going on? Don't be giving us to K, man. Give us the real gist. But yeah, it's just a quick download, right, of what happened. Last Friday, right? Um, Sam Altman, who was the CEO at that point of OpenAI, got fired, got laid off from the company due to it was very vague, but like due to the board said they didn't trust him anymore due to some operational gaps here and there. But pretty much the board had lost trust in him. And they announced that Mira Murati, who was the current CTO at that time, would be the interim CEO, right? And once that happened, Sam Altman took to Twitter to say that he was shocked and everything. And Greg Brockman, who was the president, actually, sorry, Greg Brockman, who was the president at that time of OpenAI, also quit on Friday, the same day with Sam Altman, right? So, and internal conversations reveal that the board had hoped that Greg would stay and be promoted to CEO,
Mm.
right? Or be given the CEO role, right? But when he also quit, they made the CTO, which was Mira Murati, interim CEO, right? So that's what happened. So at this moment, at this point now, they had lost the CEO and the key second figurehead, who was Greg Brockman. Now on Saturday or by Sunday, they came to announce that that they had hired ex Twitch CEO Emmett Share to be the new CEO of the company. And funny enough, Emmett Share and Sam Altman, I think they know each other back in the day from like YC days and stuff. Like they've known each other from back in the day, right? But yeah, so they hired announced that Emmett would be the new CEO for the company. But now while all this is going on, by Saturday, Satya Nadella went to work, right? And Satya Nadella is the Microsoft CEO. he went to work, right? Called Sam, offered Sam to be the CEO of Microsoft's AI's division, right? Think about it, for like you lose your job and the next day you already have another job. So
A small segue, even before Microsoft, so that same Friday when he posted it on Twitter, 2 hours after he posted it, he got another offer from a VC fund.
yeah,
So offer wasn't his problem.
yeah.
It's
Like
crazy.
I think Sam Altman's problem wasn't what he was going to do next. Well, he had too many options. Like Sam Altman is seen as it sounds great, but like he's seen as more so like the father of AI per se, right? Because when you think of when you think of AI, you think ChatGPT, think OpenAI. When you think of OpenAI, ChatGPT, you think of Sam Altman, right? Like it's literally like it's all intertwined, right? There's no separation. Um, but yeah, Satya Nadella offered Sam Altman the role of CEO of Microsoft's AI division. He actually accepted the role, right? And Greg Brockman was also joining him. Now, this is where things now got really shady. 95%, which was 700 of the 750 OpenAI employees, all signed a letter saying they were going to quit if Sam wasn't reinstated as CEO. I think that this is when things now got really messy. And this is now even go worse because freaking Microsoft, I think Microsoft actually offered them that, that they could come as well. Microsoft actually now said, what, if you are not happy at OpenAI, if you don't want to work there, come and join our AI team. As well, all of you can come and join our AI team, and don't worry about your compensation. We'll match it. Whatever you're losing.
And what's more even dicey is that Microsoft has a huge stake in OpenAI.
They have a huge stake.
It makes it so interesting.
Makes it so messy because, and then again, there are different ways you can look at this, right? Because Microsoft already has a 49% stake in OpenAI, right? Because they invested $13 billion. Was it at the start of this year or late last year? I think start of this year, they invested $13 billion, right? So they already had that one going, and now they're offering OpenAI's entire freaking staff matching. They are not losing anything. Just come and join us at one point. So I guess on one side you can say, you know what, man, this is an awesome play because guess what? Imagine being able to get OpenAI's IP. And in my own head, like, and the IP is really the people. I'm the ones who build this stuff,
literally.
right? So imagine being able to get OpenAI's IP. OpenAI is a company that's valued at $80-something billion right now. You're getting all that stuff for $13 billion.
Yeah, you're right. They're just trying to they're like, let's double our net worth by just taking these guys away.
And then the funny thing, the market liked the move. Microsoft stock went up, right? Microsoft stock shut up, man. They love the news, bro. Like, because when I think about it, like you're getting Sam, you're getting Greg Brockman, you're getting OpenAI.
It's an acquire higher.
It's an acquire high
for the
literally
low.
an acquire high, literally, right? So I think at this point, this is when the board actually realized.
And you get a tax write-off because OpenAI will now drop in value right out of almost perfect.
And guess what? Nadella loved it. Satya loved it, man. He went on Media Friends, man. He was giving interviews here and there, talking about how he's so happy to welcome Sam to Microsoft and this and that and this, and Microsoft is the next thing. We've always loved AI. And ChatGPT wasn't our first, like we've always been in this AI space, and Sam's only going to bring it to more light. And this, I was like, bah. Man, but yeah, so what this whole thing was just unfolding, I think it was clear as day that, but funny enough, I don't think Sam even wanted to leave because he wasn't like he kept tweeting about how this sucks and he's gonna miss it, and OpenAI has been his life and his love and passion for years. So even though he was happy about joining Microsoft, I feel like I feel like there might have been some internal politics going on because clearly the employees wanted to force him back, right?
Yeah.
They were not going to lose him. But I feel like even the whole Microsoft Play thing was also a play to change the governance within OpenAI.
There's power in options.
Power in options, right? Because when I think about it, the whole goal, because even Satya Nadella was even saying governance has to change. The way it's currently being run doesn't favor a lot of the investors. Vinod as well, I know Vinod also came out because he's also one of the investors in OpenAI, right? Also came out to say how the governance within OpenAI has to change as well, right? That it just doesn't make
It's
sense
a
how
very
they've been.
complex structure because Microsoft doesn't have a board seat. Even in its
Exactly,
technology
it's a very
business,
complex
right? The
structure, right?
non-profit arm of OpenAI basically controls the entire thing, and the company
Oh
must
yeah,
adhere to the non-profits policy. So the
exactly.
crazy, like, hey, give us 13 billion, but you have no say in what we're doing.
Yeah, no say exactly. It doesn't make sense. So fast forward to Tuesday. So this whole thing happened on Friday last week. Fast forward to Tuesday this week. Um, they actually came out to announce. Actually, no, I think they actually came out to announce that Sam Altman brought back. And funny enough, I think it was even a tweet. Greg actually tweeted something, and this was like Greg actually tweeted 2 a.m. on Tuesday, something like that. It was very late, like 2:30 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. Tweeted, I think we're back or something like that. We're back or something. And it was like a picture of the entire staff, right? Just saying we're back. And yeah, so on Tuesday, Sam was reinstated. Of course, Greg is now back at OpenAI. But I think they also mentioned, I think some board members actually left, they actually stepped down. And some people actually joined the board as well. They actually had some new people join the board as well. So I think it's not clear as day that some of the governance has to change within OpenAI. That's
The
what
staff
this
even
one is
technically
brought
gave
towards.
the board an ultimatum. Okay, you guys have to leave. None of some people, you guys have to leave. So
Yeah, like
it was a crazy reverse card. The board sacked him, now the board ended up leaving.
and they're living. But yeah, now he's back. Some things will definitely change within governance. Um, and yeah, he's not. I thought that was really fast. I didn't think it was gonna happen this quick, man. I felt like what might have happened is he goes away for a while. He works at Microsoft, and OpenAI just starts going down. I mean, I don't think OpenAI was to a level where they can now be self sufficient and top operation. Now they're not even there yet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're not the level of Steve Jobs and Apple when Steve Jobs passed. Like they're not there yet, right? I feel like competition right now is too hot. You'll be losing your key IP, your staff, your main CEO, your main president to a competitor now that has
And
too
that's
much.
simple things like regular web development where you can easily hire that same skill set in the market like the next day
Exactly.
and get.
So I don't think we're there yet. So I think, yeah, I think it was hey, if anything, will do. I mean, the one thing I'll take for this is just social capital, man. The power of social capital, the power of and this just rule employee power. I mean, shown at its best, man. Because
The event showed who really in control of the company, right? The
gee,
board thought they had all the power, which they do by contract, but the
yeah,
staff
man,
show that they
staff,
have leverage, and boom, power has flipped. Now with
staff,
this new board, they know that the employees really have that real power. Yes, they have a piece of paper, so it's a real. There's a book called Unelected Power. People that were not elected, they didn't go through all the stress, but they actually have a lot of say in what goes on,
because
and
when you
that's what
think
this
about it,
shows.
right? When you think about it, right? It think of like the whole thesis of which OpenAI was founded on. It was founded as a non-profit, right? The likes of Elon, Sam, and I forgot another person that came together, right? Initial investments, to say, you know what, let's just do this for humanity, right? Because they felt like AI was a thing that was bound to happen. And if it didn't happen, it could fall in the wrong hands. So how do we control the narrative and ensure that this is done for good? Which is why it was a non-profit. And which is why none of those guys have an equity stake in the company. A lot of people don't even know that. Sam has no shares. He has no OpenAI shares. He has no stake in the company, right? Now, granted, of course, he has done well for himself. He's worth like $700 million or something like that. Because from the days as an investor and as YC and stuff, he's done well for himself. But this guy has no equity in the company. So you think of someone that's literally working his behind off, putting this small time and sweat into this into this business that is now of a profit business, right? But he has no stake in the company. So a lot of people would say, why is he even doing this? Like this made like why is this your key primary focus? Like why are you putting so much money into this where you have no return minus your salary? Right? Now, would they now change that in the future? Would they now find a way to now compensate him with especially now that OpenAI might probably now become more of a for-profit organization? Like, would they now change that and start giving him options, vesting? I mean, sorry, stocks that will vest over a period of time and some compensation with like benefits and stuff. Would that change in the future? I don't know, but the fact that this guy was doing this stuff for no equity is it's kind of mind blowing.
True.
I wouldn't do it. I don't know if you guys. I'm probably
That's
gonna.
some deep picture thinking. And even that picture that they posted, if you check the time at the back of the wall, these guys were in the office to close to like 11 midnight or thereabouts. So these guys in OpenAI team, the staff, everybody, they're grinding, guys. It's not
I feel
easy,
like
man.
guys, even all of you are complaining about doing. Yeah, I don't go to the office. You say you don't go to the office. People are there till 11 p.m.
Even at that 11, you get
I think these what people don't get me. Like you use this product. I mean, oh, ChatGPT, so so nice. You don't have to write your own email anymore. You go there, you speak to what you want to do. You don't put out creating those products. You don't know the amount of time they're putting into this stuff, the amount of time
yeah.
and sweat. When people are not there to come out to the office for those 40 hours, yeah, they cry, they play. Though I didn't say anything. No, I say that, but there's lambast people that come to the office. I didn't say anything. But yeah, I think it was just it was one hell of a story. One hell of a story. Something that will be in our minds for a while. Because now you have people who you have like the likes of the Steve Jobs and stuff who were let go and come back. And I feel like this one, if OpenAI goes on to become this massive conglomerate, right? This next generation platform that really defines what AI looks like for whole of humanity, I feel like this would be a story that would be
A turning point story.
perfect. Exactly. That I'm sure that becomes more so. And if Sam Altman goes on to become this icon during the AI space, like this would be something that would be so key in that biography, like that in that movie, right? When he got laid off and employees just rallied behind and said, no, we're gonna fight through. Man, yeah, was nice, man. It was nice. But yeah, I think that's really it, man. That's really it for the whole OpenAI stuff. I'm really for the whole OpenAI stuff. But on a lighter note, what else happened this week that we should talk about?
I think, well, I don't know what I read about it, but those Azul guys are shut down. When I heard that, I thought Portable is closing down a record label. I was
Bro, but I saw that name, I was like, yeah, there's no hope, man. How can you name your fintech Zazu? Like, are you playing? I how kind of joke is this? Like,
maybe
because
there's a meaning of Zazu before Portable used it, maybe, but it doesn't very
when were they
unfair. I mean, that
founded?
didn't help the brand.
When were they
Brand them.
founded?
What is it?
When were they founded?
That's true. I'll check. But I think you're right. I've not heard Zazu before. So I think I see that with Portable. So if you say
Yeah,
Zazu, what's it called? Zazu LLC or what?
yeah, that's something. I'm not sure when they founded, but I just saw that name. I was just like, what's going on here?
And depending on if Portable made that term famous, if it's his own coin term, he could have copyrighted and even sued that company.
Yeah,
Either way, he
true,
would have.
true. But I think that's all that we have for today, man. That's all that I have for today. Once again, guys, happy Thanksgiving. And happy Black Friday. Go and shop. Go and shop. Yeah, go and shop. Go and spend the money making all year. It's been one hell of a year, ups and downs. So, guys, this is the one time when you actually get to shop without being judged.
Engage in American capitalism.
Engage in
Sure.
it. Engage in it. Honestly,
Anyway,
because that's really what it is, man. That's an excuse for everybody to just spend money. So engage in it. I won't be, and I know for sure that those I will not be. So, so guys, go and shop for us, man. Go and shop for us. Yeah, I will send my email if you want to send me any vouchers or gift cards.
Drop a squad. Bro, we should
Bless
have
us.
done squad merchandise and drop maybe squad shirt or whatever Black Friday next year.
Next year, baby steps next year. But yeah, Edosa, once again, thanks for hopping on this early Friday. It's always a pleasure doing this with you. To the audience, you guys know what to do. Like this, let us know what you think. Share this with your network. Um, Running up the year, so we want to finish strong. So guys, let's really hear your thoughts on this and what we can improve on and what you'd like to also hear us talk about as well. But yeah, with that, we'll bring it up to a close. Guys, have a good week or a good weekend. Stay safe, stay blessed. See you same time next week. Bye bye.
Oh my God.